Okay, hello interlopers. Uh, Watching some streams yesterday and for the last, since Worlds Part 2 was introduced, I guess, there's been some controversy about what you find at Purple Stars and what uh, what you find at gas giants, what you find at water worlds. Thought I'd just go through gas giants in particular here today. Uh, the first thing I've figured out about gas giants is how to find them. You see right there, the third line, it says XOPF / gas giants. That's how you find them. They show up in those descriptions. Uh, See, this one says dissonant. It doesn't say gas giant, and so it's always at a purple star. There's another gas giant. You can find them that quickly. Sometimes it takes a little longer, true. Uh, so we'll just warp to that one I found there and scan it and go explore it a bit. In particular, about gas giants. Well, there's a few other points about them, I guess, before we go any further. Of course, there's only ever one. Well, it's nothing, of course, about it, but there is only ever one actual gas giant per star system, and there's no regular planets. You got a gas giant and usually 5 moons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moons. Those are all moons. They're not planets, according to, the in-game classification system. So moon, 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 and gas giant. They all have quartzite. I think gas giants are always activated quartzite. The moons can have regular quartzite if they're not too stormy, like that one. So if you want regular quartzite, go find a moon. Other purple stars with planets also have quartzite, of course. But so gas giant usually have crystallized helium. I don't know if there's any other sort of helium you can actually find. I don't think so. The gas giants always seem to have the crystallized helium, which in our universe, I don't know if there's really even any such thing as crystallized helium. You have regular helium gas and you have liquefied helium within 1 or 2 degrees Kelvin from absolute zero. In other words, really, really cold. It might be possible to crystallize it with take the liquid helium and pressurize it or something. I'm not really certain of that. That would be very unusual because, first of all, you have to make it extremely cold, and to crystallize helium, you'd have to make it extremely, extremely high pressure to make a solid helium, but you never know. Um, Or I wouldn't know for sure anyway. So, first you find it in your warp map, and then, well, you don't have to scan it, but you go visit it. And since we're exploring, I'll use the Explorer. Seems when you warp into a gas giant system, the gas giant itself is always behind your freighter. You're facing away from it when you arrive in the system. So you have to turn around and look behind you to find the gas giant. It's pretty obvious which one is the giant. There we go. It's the big one. So there was a visitor who looked in briefly. So thick atmosphere. It takes quite a while to reach the surface after you enter the atmosphere even. So just scan it first. Kind of mountainous. Most of them are somewhat mountainous. I haven't noticed what really extreme mountains, but I think it's possible. Might have seen one a while back, a gas giant with extreme mountains. They all seem to have these floating rocks and bad weather. Bad weather is also indicated by the activated quartzite. If it was not extreme weather, it might show up as regular quartzite. But never any animals that I've seen on, nor hardly ever any plants. I think I found one of the cave flowers in a cave on a gas giant once, but like the exploration guide thing claimed there was zero flora on the planet, even though I found that cave flower or whatever you call them. So it said 1 out of 0. You know, the old story, Hello Games can't count. Minerals, 5 is high. It's often just 2 or 3 minerals on a gas giant. So we'll see how accurate some of those numbers are. Might only find 2 minerals. There's a knowledge stone. Even though it's abandoned, you can find trade terminals, you find knowledge stones. They're unmanned, of course. Undefined mineral. Salt. Salt is a common rock on gas giants, whether they've got water or not. And they often don't tell you there's salt there. And these little whirlwinds will pick you up, dash you about. Storm crystals are fairly common, I've found, because the storms are so common. But yeah, practically barren, most of them. Activated quartzite, go take a look at that. Dig up some. Magnetized ferrite is common. Storm crystal. Magnetized ferrite. Not much here really, but cargo drop from before it was abandoned, presumably. Buried technology module, same sort of story. That'd be ancient stuff from before the universe was abandoned. Or just the star system. It's not an abandoned universe. I'm not playing fully abandoned. It's just gas giants tend to be abandoned. More quartzite. So that one's relatively close. Usual dihydrogen and carbon deposits, so that you can always then escape the planet, even if you're completely out of resources, just by mining a bit of stuff. So let's get on the ground here. Mine this quartzite. I think I'm on medium wide beam just not be quite so tedious. So those medium-sized deposit, I guess. There's larger ones and smaller ones. Let's get out of here. This is pretty much laid out. Okay, so yeah, this is a gas giant without surface water, which is not unusual in the least. However, you can find water on the surface of gas giants. It's usually not large oceans, it's usually just little lakes, but they are on the surface and you can find them. Not every gas giant, of course, has surface water. Some don't even seem to have underground water. I'm not sure what how common either underground water is or complete lack of water. There is, however, definitely is surface water. We'll see if we can find some here for you. Just go to another place and do kind of a survey here. I like to use the freighter for warping because then well, first of all, you got more range. You can go like 6,000 light years instead of just 2 or 3. 2 or 3,000. So, looking for another gas giant. Note that I've got Black Star Sky here. That is from an option in accessibility. Yeah, Galaxy Map color filter. I like to use the Tritanopia color filter. It shows the color of the stars more plainly, and the sky is more black, which seems more natural to me. Like this, then you see. So you can find yellow, red, green, and blue stars quite easily with this color scheme as well. I keep trying to hit the R3 button to go faster, but you can't go faster. It just takes you out of back to your current star, where you're sitting and waiting and scanning from. If you get lost out here in this search, then you use that button to get back to your starting point. But you can't run or go fast when you're searching here. Well, maybe you can with some glitch or something. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know about that. So yeah, sometimes the gas giants are a little harder to find than other times. I don't know if they're in groups, or if there's any pattern to where they're located at all, if they're just random. These are all dissonant. The description for the purple only ever seems to be either dissonant or gas giant. There's the gas giant. And you can tell by the orbit diagram as well that it's a gas giant with then shows the orbits of the moons around the gas giant. If it was just a planetary system or a regular one, you can hardly see the moons. The moon orbits are much smaller, if they're there at all. You know, if you can see them or whatever. They may be always there, just harder to see it sometimes than others. But yeah, finding water worlds is a little more difficult. You can't tell if there's a water world there from the warp map, as far as I know. You have to actually warp to the purple star. Don't warp to a gas giant. Oh, as far as I can tell, they never have a water world with a gas giant. It's always moons. I don't think moons are water worlds as such. See, Frostbound, Redacted, Desolate, and Bog Vile brood detected. Oh, okay, yeah. Quartzite. And then activated quartzite, crystallized helium, sodium. So they don't, yeah, they have quartzite and helium. That's common. Sodium, it's various things for the last one. Usually only they don't usually have more than the three minerals or whatever. Vile brood on a gas giant, though, excuse me. Vile brood on a gas giant is somewhat unusual. Let's get the credits here. I've got a bit of a hiccup going. Looks like we're gonna take this exotic this time. Now, around behind Euphrates is a gas giant. Dealy Beta? Floating rocks. Bit more mountainous, but not too bad. They still have relatively flat valleys here. Not very flat at all, I guess, really. But we can land here. Yeah, the landing delays that were being seen are not as bad as they used to be. This patch 5.58 it has turned out pretty good for me on the PS4. The stability is much improved, and some of those delays and almost hangs have been fixed up. There's still a few around, like the good old security check that the space anomaly is still pretty common. Okay, let's scan some of these rocks. We only have 2 probably. Oh, claims there's 5 rocks. Okay, let's see how many we can find. Can't scan those. Usually you can scan rocks that size. This is carbon crystals. So we only got 2 or... Yeah, that's a large floating rock. water on this one. So yeah, I don't know if there's anything else we want to see here. Head back for my ship or something. It's you know, boring, typical gas giant. Oh, there's the retreating bubbles or whatever they are. They don't seem to be a life form or anything. They're just what the hell? That was a floating rock, I guess, floated right through my ship. Yeah, I hope they can maintain the level of stability for future updates. I hear rumors that there's another fairly large update coming. Maybe a World's Part 3. Wouldn't that be a blast? So, I'll try and find another gas giant. There we go. Was this what, the fourth or fifth one we looked at that time? What else can I say? I don't know. People were talking yesterday. They said, oh, they wish they'd find an oceanic gas giant with really deep water or something. Well, I don't think those things exist. It's just dreamers. You never know, though. Sometimes the creators will hear the dreams of the regular people, and they go out and implement it. I try to be careful what I wish for, because I get the feeling that Hello Games does watch at least some of my videos and streams. Not sure if they actually have the manpower to watch everything on YouTube about their game, but I'm sure they make an attempt at least a survey, or at least certain videos they would watch, especially if they're tracking down problems. And on what you call it, Twitch as well. Is it called Twitch? I the other streaming service anyway. I've never used it. I don't know. This is a long warp, it seems. Have we bugged out finally? Maybe I should do a quick reload here soon, because I've visited a number of planets. It might tend to be getting tangled in the memory or something. Reload can straighten stuff out quite often. We have to finish this warp though before I can do a reload, or I'd have to restart the whole stream and everything. Yeah, this is definitely going longer than it should. Yeah, just to be clear, for water worlds, I specifically mean water worlds with the deep water, the water deeper than 200 meters deep, where it, it actually puts right on your screen deep water when you pass that 200-meter depth, and the nature of it changes a little bit with deep water. Different creatures, different plants. There seems to be more light-emitting plants, more glowy plants in the deep water. You need special equipment to survive for long in the deep water. There's a new deep water compressor, air compressor or something. Well, I'm afraid I'm going to have to abort this stream and start a new one, because this warp is like an infinite warp. We're trapped in the warp dimension here. Doomed to forever, like a Flying Dutchman, just keep warping. So yeah, I think even before I turned on streaming there, I visited several gas giants. It's much better than it was in the previous patch. Previous patch, you'd be lucky to get through your second planet in a single session before crashing. It usually gave you the blue screen. When those crashes happened, it wouldn't hang like this. Although I think, this was probably lurking below the surface, ready to become more prominent when they stomp on the more obvious bugs. Then the less obvious ones become more significant. And this is one of the less obvious, much more difficult to fix, because it doesn't give you a blue screen dump report and all that stuff. like Sony automatically uploads the dump report to some Sony server, I presume, and then they either give Hello Games access to the dump reports for this game, or they send them over somehow. Would seem kind of wasteful to transport all those dump reports across the net to England from Sony servers, but you never know what they do. Just make a special login for Hello Games support to examine the dump reports on the Sony dump report upload server. They could sort them and analyze them there with little applications and viewers, but I don't know. So is anybody else bored with this? You think I've let it run long enough to make sure it just isn't slow? I should so I can't do the in-game reload. I have to stop the stream and close the application from the operating system and start over. Okay, nobody watching, but if you're viewing this, look for part 2.